Stop scrolling for just a moment. What if a tiny dime sitting inside an old coin collection could turn out to be worth a life-changing amount of money? Today on Coin Master USA, we're starting our countdown with a coin that looks small, ordinary, and easy to overlook. But collectors know that the smallest details can sometimes make the biggest difference. We're talking about the 1946D Roosevelt Dime. And there is one detail you absolutely need to check before you decide this coin is just 10 cents. Look closely at the date. Look closely at the mint mark. And most importantly, look at the condition. Because this was the very first year of the Roosevelt Dimes series, and the 1946D was struck at the Denver Mint. It is a 90% silver coin, making it historically important as well as collectible. But here's where things get interesting. Could an exceptionally preserved example become dramatically more valuable than an ordinary circulated example? Stay with me, because before this video is over, I'll show you exactly what makes a 1946D Roosevelt Dime worth investigating, and why you should never judge an old coin only by its face value. Coin reveal 1/002/30. Here it is. The 1946D Roosevelt Dime. The D mint mark tells us that this dime was produced at the Denver Mint. And remember, 1946 is not just another year. It is the first year of the Roosevelt Dime series. That makes this coin an important piece of American coinage history. But don't make the mistake of thinking that every 1946D dime is automatically worth a fortune. That's not how rare coin collecting works. The real question is, what condition is your coin in? PCGS lists a mintage of 61 ounces, 43,500 for the 1946D Roosevelt Dime. So ordinary examples are not considered extremely rare simply because of their date. The enormous difference in value comes from condition, grade, strike quality, varieties, and other collectible characteristics. Suspense 2 to 3400. Now imagine finding one of these old silver dimes in a forgotten collection. Maybe it belonged to your grandfather. Maybe it was sitting inside an old envelope. Maybe it has been hidden away for decades. You pick it up, you turn it over, and there it is. D. At that moment, don't rush to clean it. Don't polish it. Don't scratch it. And don't throw it into a pile with ordinary coins. Why? Because professional collectors care enormously about preservation. A coin that has remained sharply detailed, with strong surfaces and excellent original appearance, can be dramatically more desirable than a heavily worn example. And PCGS records show just how much condition matters for this date. The highest grade examples are far more difficult to find than ordinary circulated pieces. Value buildup 4/005/30. Now let's talk about the number that makes this coin so exciting for today's video. Some online claims and promotional coin videos place extraordinary values on supposedly exceptional examples. For this video, our featured figure is $5,800,000. Yes, $5,800,000. But listen carefully. That does not mean every 1,946D Roosevelt dime is worth $5.08 million. A real-world coin's value depends on authentication, grading, condition, variety, provenance, and actual market sales. For comparison, PCGS currently lists ordinary high-grade 1,946D examples at values ranging from relatively modest amounts into the thousands depending on grade, while its documented auction record for the full band's variety is $4,888 for an MS-68 FB example sold in 2007. So if somebody tells you that every 1,946D dime is automatically worth millions, stop! Check the coin first. What to look for? 537.30. So what should you actually look for? First, check the date, 1946. Second, check the mint mark, D. Third, examine the overall condition. Are Roosevelt's facial details sharp? Are the letters clear? Are the rims strong? Does the coin have heavy scratches, dents, discoloration, or signs of cleaning? And on the reverse, pay close attention to the torch and surrounding details. For high-grade collectors, the full band's designation can be especially important because it indicates strong separation and detail on the bands of the torch. PCGS separately tracks full bands examples of the 1,946D. And here's another warning. Never clean an old collectible coin just because it looks dirty. Cleaning can permanently damage the surfaces and may reduce collector appeal. If you believe you've found an unusually high-grade or unusual example, professional authentication and grading are much safer than trying to improve the coin yourself. Emotional moment, 738.30. Think about that for a second. A tiny piece of silver that once had a face value of only 10 cents, a coin produced in the first year of the Roosevelt Dime series, could still be sitting inside an old collection today. That's why coin collecting is so exciting. You don't always know what history is hiding inside a small box, an inherited collection, or an old coin album. And sometimes, the difference between an ordinary coin and a highly desirable collectible can be something as small as a mint mark, a variety, or the preservation of the original surfaces. Cliffhanger to coin 2,830.00. But don't leave yet, because this is only coin number 1. We've already seen why the 1,946D Roosevelt dime deserves a closer look. We've seen the importance of the D mint mark. We've seen why condition and full band's details matter. And we've seen the shocking $5.08 million claim attached to today's video, while also learning that verified market records are much more conservative. But coin number 2, that's where things get even more interesting. Because the next coin has another combination of date, mint mark, condition, and rarity that collectors need to understand. So before you check your old coins, remember, don't spend it. Don't clean it. Don't assume it's ordinary. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Check the condition. And most importantly, know what you actually have. This is Coinmaster USA. If you love rare American coins, subscribe now and stay with us. Because coin number 2 is coming next, and you definitely don't want to miss it. 10 divided by 8, 11:06 a.m. Syad, coin 2, 1957 Roosevelt Dime. Hookites continue from coin 1. Wait, because coin number 2 may look even more ordinary than the first one. Imagine finding a small silver dime dated 1957 with a tiny D mint mark. At first glance, you might think, it's just another old dime. But that could be the biggest mistake you make. Because when it comes to rare coins, the date is only the beginning. The real story can be hidden in the mint mark, condition, strike, and tiny details that most people never notice. And today's featured coin is the 1957 Roosevelt Dime. The number connected with this coin in today's video? $8.09 million. But hold on. Before you start searching every dime in your house, you need to understand exactly what makes a coin valuable. Coin reveal. Here it is. The 1957 Roosevelt Dime. The D tells us that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. And because Roosevelt dimes from this era were made with a silver composition, these coins are already an important part of American coin history. But here's the interesting part. Not every 1957 dime is rare. In fact, millions were produced. So why would collectors pay serious attention to a particular example? Condition. That's where the story changes. Suspense. Condition. Take a close look at your coin. Is Roosevelt's portrait sharply defined? Are the letters clear? Are the edges strong? Does the coin have heavy scratches or damage? And most importantly, does it appear to have been heavily circulated? A worn 1957 dime and an exceptionally preserved example can be worlds apart in collector desirability. That's why you should never look at an old coin and simply say, "It's old, so it must be worth a fortune." Age alone doesn't create a $1 million coin. Rarity plus condition plus demand plus authentication are what matter. The $8.09 million claim. Now let's get to the shocking number. For today's video, we're featuring a claimed potential value of $8,900,000. Yes, $8,900,000. But here's something every serious collector needs to understand. That figure should not be interpreted as the normal market value of every 1957 Roosevelt dime. Actual market prices depend on the exact coin, grade, certification, variety, provenance, and verified auction results. So if you have a 1957 Roosevelt dime in your collection, don't assume you are holding $8.09 million. Instead, find out exactly what you have. That's the smart collector's approach. What to check? Here's your checklist. First, 1957. Make sure the date is clearly visible. Second, D mint mark. Look for the small D indicating Denver. Third, condition. Look for original surfaces and strong details. Fourth, strike quality. Pay attention to the fine details, especially on the reverse. And fifth, don't clean the coin. This is extremely important. If you find an old silver coin that looks dirty or dark, don't grab a polishing cloth. Don't use chemicals. Don't scratch it. You could permanently damage the surfaces and potentially hurt its collector value. If the coin looks unusually sharp or appears to have exceptional preservation, professional authentication and grading may be worth considering. Emotional story. Now imagine this. An old coin collection has been sitting untouched for decades. Inside is a small envelope. Inside that envelope is a 1957 Roosevelt Dime. Nobody pays attention to it. Years go by. Then someone finally looks at the date. They check the mint mark, D. Then they examine the condition. And suddenly they realize this isn't something they should casually spend. That's the magic of coin collecting. The coin may be tiny, but the history behind it can be enormous. And sometimes the smallest details are the ones that make collectors stop and look twice. Retention cliffhanger. But remember, this is only coin number 2. We've already looked at a 1946 Roosevelt Dime. Now we've reached a 1957 Roosevelt Dime. And we've learned something very important. A shocking price tag doesn't automatically make a coin rare. You need to look at the evidence, the date, the mint mark, the grade, the condition, the variety, and the actual sales history. Because the next coin, coin number 3, could be the one that makes this entire list even more interesting. So before you spend that old dime sitting in your drawer, check it. Don't clean it. Don't throw it away. And don't assume it's worthless. This is Coin Master. And we're moving to coin number 3 next. Coin 3, T 1962 Roosevelt Dime. Final coin hook, high energy. We have reached coin number 3, and this is where you need to pay very close attention. Because the coin I'm holding up right now looks like an ordinary old dime. But there is something you should always check before you ignore it. Look at the date, 1962. Now look at the mint mark, D. That's the Denver Mint. And today's featured value? $850,000. Yes, $850,000. But before you start checking your coin jar, there's something extremely important you need to understand. Not every 1962 Roosevelt dime is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The value of a collectible coin depends on its grade, condition, strike, variety, certification, and actual market evidence. And that's exactly why this coin deserves a closer look. Coin reveal. This is the 1962 Roosevelt Dime. According to PCGS, it was struck at the Denver Mint, has a mintage of 380, and is made from the 90% silver composition used for Roosevelt dimes of this era. So here's the big question. If so many were produced, what could possibly make one example special? The answer is condition, and sometimes variety. Suspense 200400. Take your time when examining an old 1962 dime. Look at Roosevelt's portrait. Are the details sharp? Are the surfaces clean and original? Are there scratches or dents? Does the coin show heavy circulation? Or does it look almost untouched? Now turn the coin over. Look carefully at the torch. The bands across the torch are especially